Hey, welcome to week 11. Oh my God, we're almost done, y'all. I need to apologize. I have owed you a video for like 2, maybe even 3 weeks now. My goal was to send you a video at the beginning of every single week, and I have failed the last couple of weeks. So I apologize. I'm trying to get back on track. I'm still trying to get caught up. Most of you know I also serve as the department chair in our department. And what that means is a whole other list of duties, plus still the requirement for teaching and grading and all that. So I love every one of you. I am behind. I'm being honest. Like, that's where I'm at in life. But I have owed you a video for a while, and I want us to get back on track, or I want me to get back on track with doing that. And so just a quick, it's week 11. This week's conversation is on pricing. So last week, you kind of dug your toes into the world of marketing mix. And the whole point of marketing mix is you being able to identify whatever the product or service is, whatever the price it is that you're selling it at, and how you're promoting it and where you're selling it to them. Like, is it a website? Is it a store? Like, is it a craft show? It's the where. Like, how do you get your stuff to them? Not necessarily just, oh, I put it in the mail, but where do they see it? How do they get it? That kind of stuff. So, marketing mix is a little bit more than just that, though. It also kind of brings about the conversation of strategy and, like, why would you pick a certain price for that product? A lot of us constantly say, I want to be the cheapest. That's not always the best answer, because although, yes, we like not spending as much money, we also associate quality with price. So if you're the cheapest, then people may not buy from us simply because they think that the quality is lower. And so that's also not always the case. So you can't just say, oh, I'm pricing at this. It has to come from a whole strategy of kind of what your brand is trying to accomplish. It's not that simple, but you kind of get, it's not just as simple as, oh, I'm going to be the cheapest. Or I just got done grading in our class. It was the economics of one unit, and it was a worksheet that I gave you 2 scenarios of businesses and how much it cost to sell the item. So we were selling a backpack, and we were selling a boxed lunch from a food truck that we theoretically owned. And the questions I asked of you were basically, did we charge enough? And some of you said yes, and some of you said no. As long as you were able to defend why your answer was the way it was in a very good way, like, you're going to have to really defend it if I thought that the answer was wrong. Then I was counting almost most of the points, okay? But at the end of the day, if you're selling something and the profit that you're making does not at least replace that item, you might not be charging enough. I have a student, and she sells some homemade items, and she adds $2 or $3 to it and then sells it. But it costs her like $6 to buy the stuff. You're eventually going to run out of product and not have enough money made to replenish the stock. So keep in mind, as you're thinking about how much you should charge, keep in mind you also have to replace the very thing that you're selling. So if it costs you $6 to buy it, to sell it, and you're going to want to replenish that, you're going to need to make at least $6 in profit so that you can replace it. Keep that in mind. The marketing mix as a whole is something that we use to influence customers. So that influence comes in a variety of ways. In our face-to-face class last week, we actually talked about a variety of ways that high-end brands sell things. And I mean sell things as in convince you to buy them. And I actually picked on Louis Vuitton inside of class, and we pulled up the most popular Louis Vuitton handbag. At that day, it was $2,027 to buy the handbag. Just one handbag from their website. Why do people buy that? What has Louis Vuitton done that convinced us as a consumer population that it's worth that much money and that we want to pay it? Even if we can't afford it, that, man, I wish I could afford one of those. What kind of influence does a company like that have in pricing a handbag $2,000? And I'm going to guess, this is April guessing. Don't anybody come at me. I bet it cost them less than $20 to make it. So, what influence can you have in the way that you build your marketing mix? And that goes the product that you're selling, how you're pricing it, how you're distributing it, and how you're getting it to the people, and how you're promoting it. What's the story you're telling through that promotion? So the marketing mix as a whole is basically all the factors that we're using to influence consumer purchasing. So think about, so when you're looking at pricing being this week's conversation, how are you pricing things to actually influence people to buy it? And that's not an easy answer, and I'm not going to pretend like it's an easy answer. What is the relationship that price has to whatever the business strategy that you have? If your goal is to build a brand that is the cheapest at everything, and Walmart has done that. They might not always be the cheapest at all the things, but the whole concept of Walmart is lower prices. That's the whole thing. One-stop shopping, and they want to do it at lower prices. We could have a whole day's worth of conversations about how Walmart does that. Some of them, some argue, are a little bit shady. That's the point is, though, is they know that their consumers want the cheapest price possible. So that's what they do to give it to them. Opposite, Target. And y'all, if you know me, you know I compare Walmart and Target all the time. Target, not lowest price. And they knew it. They know it. They wake up every day going, we know we're not the lowest. They don't want to be. They have other things that bring you in, and you're like, sure, I'll pay an extra 30 cents or $1 for that pack of toilet paper. Because they have other things that make you want to shop there. So their strategy to influence you to come in the building and shop is different than Walmart's strategy. You, as you're building the business or growing the business or trying to narrow down which business you want to start, one of the things that's the hardest thing in the world to do is price. And so this week is price strategies. And so there are 4 of them. And I'll list them, but this isn't a lecture video. You've got penetration, value, meter beat, prestige, and skimming. And I don't think I left any off, but if I did, I apologize. Read your chapter, read your chapter, read your chapter. How do you price your stuff in such a way that fits into the strategy of the company that you're trying to do? That's the whole process this week, and it's hard to figure out. And some of us are made to believe that if we increase the price too much, we're just trying to steal money from our people. That's not true at all. Nope. Not a one of you. Not a one of us. Let me put it that way. We are not going into business to lose money. Let's be very clear about that up front. So your price needs to reflect a bazillion things, though. 1, you got to replace the product that you're selling. Keep that in mind. 2, you also have to be able to back up the price. And by back up, I mean, if you're selling a $2,000 handbag, is it built with the highest quality? Or is it going to fall apart in a month? Threads come out of it. I mean, if I'm going to spend $2,000 on something, that thing better drive me to the store. So the quality is going to have to be high. Low price, not always the best. If I bought a $3 shirt and it fell apart after I washed it, I'm like, meh, I spent $3 on it. But if I spent $70 on it, I'm going to be mad. So keep in mind, the price is insanely important for things well beyond profit. So I want you to read in depth in the chapter. Read it 10 times. Start wrapping your mind around the big picture about pricing strategy and which way you need to go with it. Okay? Now, I'm happy to bounce ideas off of you if you want to holler at me or something like that. But this week, you have chapter 8 to read. There are some PowerPoint slides out there if you want them. Please use those too. You've got a discussion board. And it is actually chapters 5 and 6 in your Tom's book. I really like this book. It's kind of getting old, though. It was published several years ago. But I still like the story about how it's all built. And then you've got a quiz on chapter 8. At the end of this semester, though, one of the things I'm going to ask you to do when you turn in a one-page business plan, which is one of our very last projects, I'm going to ask you what your pricing strategy is and how much you're charging for stuff. If you're selling a backpack that you spent $12 on to buy and make and add the things to it or sew it or whatever, and you're only making $3 per bag after that, that's a problem. Keep in mind your price strategy is insanely important. So, all right, discussion question and quiz this week. I would love it if you would go deep dive into the world of pricing strategy and how it influences spending. And so, if you need me, holler. Also, before I forget, we need to advise. Almost every single person in this class, and there's almost 40 of us, y'all. Almost every single one of us needs to be advised by me. If you're an entrepreneurship major or if you're a digital marketing major, I need to be the person that helps create your schedule for spring. And I would like to do that and have it done before finals. Before Thanksgiving, if I get my way. So you're going to get an email from me here in a minute, and it's going to say it's time to advise. Or it may already be in your inbox. So we have to advise. I want you to advise with me rather than somebody at the Advising Center, please. The Advising Center is used for those that start their first semester. After that, you go to your faculty advisor. All entrepreneurship majors and all digital marketing majors are advised by myself. So shoot me an email so we can get your schedule made. There will also be bonus points at the end of the semester given if you've already got your schedule made. So let's go ahead and get them done. I hope you have a fantastic weekend. Happy Halloween. I hope you dress up and get all the candy, or your kids dress up and get all the candy. Have a great weekend. Bye.